You're good.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, cool. How's it going?
Good. I just got out of. I went to the hand doctor for the first time.
Oh, I see. You've been having
Yeah.
like hand problems because of melee, or?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's because of melee, but it's also because of like playing instruments and like work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
I
something
see.
that I needed to take care of.
Okay. And do you feel like you got like helped?
Yeah. I have like a cyst and they're gonna remove it.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
yeah.
That's it's always nice when the doctor is just like, "Oh, we used our doctor powers to find the issue that you wouldn't have found, and and we're gonna fix it." And you're like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes."
Exactly.
I hate when it's like vague.
Yeah.
It's like
I have
not
to
their
wait till
fault. It's just
after.
what's up?
I was gonna say I have to wait till after LTC
I see.
to do
Okay. Yeah.
it.
Well, good luck with that. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay. Could you do a quick intro for the stream? Just say like your tag, where you're from, how long you've been playing, goals for the game.
Yeah. Um, my tag is Lamb. It's also my name. I'm from Fort Worth, but I live in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
That's my local scene, and I've been playing since like summer 2016. I started as a Marth main, and then for like 2 years, I went like super hard. I was like a huge nerd about the game, and like I was the only one in my scene that knew about like I had like a relative to those people like an encyclopedic knowledge of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
they were all just gaming, but um, then on and off for like a few years, and then I've been solo Falco for probably a year, and then like actually competing for like 3 months.
Okay. Okay. So your Falco's pretty fresh.
It's pretty fresh, yeah, relative to how
Okay.
long I've been playing for sure.
Yeah. No, that gives me some context for sure. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
my goals, I right now my goal is to top eight my local,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like it's not super far off. That's like my immediate goal.
Okay. Yeah.
And
No, that's cool.
yeah, long-term goal is, I mean, a static goal of mine is just to keep improving. It's like all I think about when
Mm-hmm.
I play the game. So
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's all useful info. All right, and we're going over. This looks like Falco Marth.
yeah, so I sent a couple Falco Marth and Falco. I think my Marth matchup is okay.
Uh
My
huh.
Fox matchup is like really bad.
Okay. Okay.
I know that like I've heard people talk about how like it should be like my best matchup or my comfort matchup. Um, I am so much more comfortable playing against Puff or Marth, or I'm not even great at like Peach, but I just feel better.
Okay.
Fast characters I have a lot of trouble with.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and go
yeah,
ahead.
Fox's Falco's hardest matchup. So don't listen to what people tell you.
That's what I'm thinking, man. This shit is
It's not a
crazy.
losing matchup by any means, but it's
Yeah,
the reason it's a comfort matchup for people is because Falco, it's like the matchup where Falco has the strongest reversal game. So they just lose and then they spam shine out of combos or Fox misses a tech chase and then they
yeah,
get their like spacey versus spacey combo. And that's why they're
yeah.
like, yeah, it's my comfort matchup. But if you put
I think
99% of Falcos against a Fox just doing decent full hops or dashbacks consistently, they just don't know what to do.
yeah,
So
totally.
don't listen to the people telling you it should be whatever your comfort matchup. Ignore that. It's actually I consider it better to be comfortable with the other matchups more. Not like necessarily better, but it's like there's a lot of Falcos that like get good against Fox, and then they just never learn any other matchup, and they just complain about the other characters in the game.
That's how I feel like a lot of it's like spacey players are, and
Mm-hmm. But it's
I'm like,
like
why am I not like them? Like, I don't know.
But it's like, yeah, Falco Chic, Falco Puff, like Falco Peach, like Falco like destroys these characters. Like they should be far more comfortable to fight than Fox. Like Fox is terrifying. Peach
Yeah,
can't like power shield, wave dash in, shine from across the stage. Like,
yeah,
why is that scarier than Fox? I'll never understand.
yeah.
It's just the reversals, I think.
Yeah, I to give you some more context, like I've spent like the last month watching
Mm-hmm.
like all of your Falco lessons, and I have there's so, like a lot of concepts that I've gotten from them,
Mm-hmm.
that I've tried to apply to my game, like um, versus Marth, like laser away, laser in, like laser dash back in general, catching him out of the air, keeping him in the corner,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
so
then
like all the
versus
stuff I usually focus on against Marth, like you've at least heard me say a couple times.
yeah, and that's like for most matchups, and like I'm known in my scene like as someone who's fiction pilled, so I do like
Okay, let's go.
take, take yeah I take a lot of stock into how you look at the game, and I I think part of like I don't know, I get frustrated with it because I think it's partially to a fault because I do a lot of lasers and I get caught out of laser a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I don't know how to do it correctly. And I'm not sure if I'm in a better spot having doing that than just like dumb Falco. Um,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like, is it better for me to just be doing lasers a lot more than normal or more than I should rather than,
Yeah,
you know,
so I think so. It's the reason why a lot of times people end up on Dumb Falco or just plain kind of stupid is because lasers are like they're not high risk, but if you do them wrong, they're high risk for like low return. And so
yeah,
like if you're shooting bad lasers, you're gonna feel like, oh, I did 12 damage with lasers over 30 seconds, and then they grabbed me once and killed me. You know,
that is how it feels for
and
me
that
a lot.
will still happen when you're really good at it. But like the lasers are the reason that Falco is good. So like giving up on the lasers because like you are bad at them basically is not a good plan. So
Yeah.
I think sticking with like whatever, I don't know, maybe like if you were doing like 7-minute games with lasers or something, maybe I would say like that's too much. But usually when people are like, you did too many lasers, it's because you shot three instead of one into dash dance down air, you know, like
Yeah.
so like no, I doubt you're doing too many lasers. The issue is that you don't want to just shoot lasers. Every
Yeah.
laser you shoot needs to be like a specific laser.
People
uh,
talk about like whenever I ask people about stuff, that's like the biggest thing people tell me. Like they used to just tell me, you don't laser enough. And I started
mm-hmm.
lasering a shit ton and I kind of adopted a lot of concepts that you have about the game. And now people are just like, you don't shoot lasers with intention. And
Ah, okay.
it's really like I don't know. I get easily frustrated with like conceptual things in the game because if something doesn't immediately make sense to me, I don't give up on it, but I do kind of get frustrated. Like, why doesn't this
Mm-hmm.
make sense to me? Um, and that is one of the things that like fucking drives me crazy because everyone says it like to me
Okay.
that
Everybody tells you that, yeah.
yes. And I try to look for places where like I know that there are certain types of lasers. I know that like there's a low laser, high laser on Marth that
Mm-hmm.
beats certain things. I know that there's two lasers in place that Fox can't get in on. But finding like the right situation to act in a certain manner in general, not just with lasers, is like the thing I struggle with in this game the most.
Mm.
And that also counts as like for finding meaningful hits is a big problem that there's a Fox player in my region named the Leaf, and he tells me a lot about like that I need to be finding more meaningful hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like people will tell me they either tell me that my lasers aren't intentions enough, or they'll say your lasers are really good, but you just like didn't get anything.
I see.
Those are
Okay.
like the main feedback
Yeah.
that I get.
Okay. So
Might
let
help
me
to jump into a game
yeah,
though.
so we can jump into the game. I just want to say like really quick, basically like you're never shooting too many lasers if every laser is a specific laser.
Totally, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's basically it. But if you're shooting mindlessly, then like no matter how many lasers you shoot, you won't really improve at it, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the way that works. Okay, so let's hop into this. Oh wait, do you want to start with the Fox one or the Marth one?
Um, I
Sometimes we can tend to spend more time on whatever the first one is, like because I get kind of absorbed in it. So maybe if you need more work on Fox, we could do that. But if you want to start with the Marth, that's totally fine, and we can like switch off of the Marth one at any time if you wanted to. So it's up to you.
let's start with Fox.
Okay.
My goal right now for this lesson is to kind of get like a groundwork and kind of get you understanding me as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do intend to like keep doing this and getting more out of it.
Okay.
So I think the games to me right now aren't as important. It's just like showing you how I play. But I would really, I think like picking your brain as a player is like the main thing I wanted to do with the lesson.
Okay.
But because I've like watched so many of your lessons and I'm like, oh, I do that thing. So fiction has solved this thing, by answering it from another player's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like I already know, like there's going to be things in this lesson that I know that I'm doing wrong, that you'll tell me I'm doing wrong, that I've seen before, and I think that like an improvement thing is what we're going to end up talking about, like towards the
Okay.
end of the lesson.
All right. Let's hop in
But we
and
can just
see
jump
what
in.
we
Yeah.
what we come up with here. I'll watch for a bit. Okay. Okay. I'm so surprised by what I'm seeing compared to what I thought I'd be seeing. I'll explain in a second. I'm just gonna watch a little bit more. Wow. So would you say this is like pretty average about how you play, or like in terms of like the
Yeah.
amount of lasers that you're kind of shooting? Like, have Fox players told you when you played like this that you're shooting too many?
Um, yeah. Well, no, I'm not sure what matchups people tell me that in,
Okay,
but this is about how like this is like in the middle of a really long session, so this is
I
like a
see.
average.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're shooting like way too few lasers.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, let's step back. It's not really about the number of lasers. It's never
Yeah.
been about the number. It's about which positions you use the lasers in. And there's a lot of positions that I've seen already that you should kind of be using certain lasers in that you're not. So we can
Okay.
just go over them just one at a time really quick, and then we'll go back to like the rest of the log.
Totally.
So, have you seen my double laser in place video against Fox?
Yes.
Okay, so that range is really important because that is the exact range in which Fox cannot push in on the lasers, like the range from that video.
Yeah.
And so, if Fox is further away from than that range, and you don't shoot a laser, you're basically telling him that it's okay for him to maybe get like too close for the lasers to work.
Yeah.
So anytime Fox is like at that range or further, you need to like immediately laser. Falco, there's no value at all in like dash dancing or
Yeah.
doing anything like that when Fox is not at a distance where he can punish your laser.
Yeah.
So um obviously this was just like a mistake, I'm guessing, like probably just drop laser right here. Like
Yeah.
this is just like weird. And then so this is like, even though like ignoring the fact that this is right at the beginning of the game, this is kind of like the equivalent of like you have a chance to shoot your laser here, and if you don't, then Fox can maybe get here, and this is like a little too close. Like the double laser range is maybe like here, and
Mhm.
like so now Fox is too close for you to laser, so when you do, there's a chance you could die.
Yeah.
And so you super want to prevent this from happening.
That happens to me a lot.
And then, okay, there's also some stuff where basically Falco's really bad at zero. And if you've watched a lot of my lessons, you probably heard me talk about this. That,
Yes.
like, you should not purposely interact with your opponent or, like, take aggressive action when they are at zero. Falco doesn't really start working until maybe, like, 8%, 10% against Fox. Like if you downer him at zero, he'll just shine you, right? Like he has way too many tools to deal at low percent, like and Falco is so bad at it that like it's like other characters maybe at 0 you hit them but then like they don't have a frame 1 move so maybe you just like down air roll or something like that, but like Fox has
Yeah.
a shine so it's like he's really really good against like low percent stuff. And so your idea when the match starts or when each stock starts needs to be like, I'm going to camp Fox and get laser damage up to as much percent as I probably can, but around 10% is when I consider like that phase kind of over of like, yes, like I got my damage that I needed. I try to get 10% laser damage at least.
Yeah.
And this sort of ties in also to the fact you should be like super camping Fox, like ruthlessly. Falco cannot approach Fox in any capacity if the Fox plays correctly. So you should literally be camping Fox. Like when I am playing Fox, the match starts, and I'm like, how long can I go before Fox can, like, touch me? Like, I just literally want to laser him, and, like, I'll do a lot of, like, laser, laser, laser full hop to top plat, threaten coming down, come down with a laser, 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 full hop to side plat, come down with laser, full hop to top plat. I do, like, a lot of that. And I think that is like the right way to play at low percent. I mean, it's really useful pretty much all the time because Fox can't really punish it, and I do it a lot in general. But at 0, it's like the only valid option, kind of. You can either get lasers or like grab or shine or like late down air.
Yeah.
And it's just at like 10 or whatever, you don't need quite as crazy of a down air, and like a lot more stuff will like combo and stuff like that. Like up tilt gets a lot better when they're past, like, you know, like up tilt at 0 is not very good. Like they can just counter hit you and stuff like that. So that early percent is really important. And then so think about like spots like this. This is not like a valid down air because like what are you gonna do? Even if you hit him with it, you're using an early down air here. So at 0, this literally can't combo. And so a lot of situations against Fox, especially when he's in like low percent or positions where you can't really get a good opening, he'll like create these sort of scrambly positions where you're kind of like, maybe I can get him. And it's like, the only thing, if you want to fish here for something, I'm not telling you to fish, but if you want to, you should be fishing for shine.
Like JT Shine?
Yeah. But normally, when I'm in a position like this, I roll.
Okay.
My rule against Fox is, like, roll unless you're sure. So, like, when I'm, like, in a scramble with him, I'm just like, I'll roll. But then sometimes, you know, he'll do something kind of dumb, and then I'm like, oh, I can deal with that. But usually, like, I prefer a sort of, like, risk-free way against Fox. I don't really like to, like, my moves versus your moves, which is stronger. You know, like, that doesn't really, like, work against Fox, because he just kind of is faster.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid, like, fighting in these scrambles, and like I said, even if this down air hits, it doesn't do anything because he's at 0.
I think something that I really struggle with against Fox is, or like, in general, like, you can probably tell right now, but I'm about, like, 10 frames behind. Like, I'm reacting to where he is. And not where he's going to be. Something that I really struggle with, and is like one of the main things I wanted to talk about in this lesson, is people will talk about getting a good position and playing a strong mix-up, and that means like almost nothing to me. Like I really do not understand that concept. Like when I play, like during these matches, I'm thinking about, this is the range I want to be at, and and obviously I didn't execute it extremely well, but I'm like, this is the range I want to be at, and I want to be shooting lasers and then find an opening. And then I find that when I'm at those certain ranges and I'm lasering Fox and he's trying to get in on me, the only thing that I can get in with is like grab, because like a down air is too far away. If I do a late down air, I get like hit out of the air, they run away or something. And I have trouble like linking up, like where, like linking hits, I guess. It's just like he's all over the stage and I can't find him, and I can't like pressure him, and I don't really understand the concept of mix-ups, I guess. And I play Falco.
Hmm. Okay. Let me think of a good way to describe it. So, you understand, like, if you're edge guarding Fox, a lot of times you don't have, like, 100% edge guard if Fox is, like, kind of close to the stage.
Yeah.
Uh, there is some form of, like, a mix up there. Like, you
I
kind
heard
of
you talk
have,
about how that's 50-50.
like, you have to guess and stuff like that. To some degree,
Yeah.
it's around 50-50. Yeah. And so it's like, that is, like, an example of a mix up out of a strong position. So
Yeah.
like you want to be playing if you have to guess, you would love to guess only in spots where it's like half the time you kill them and half the time they get ledge. You know? Like that's a
Yeah.
great mix up to play and it's like the risk reward of the mix up is super in your favor of like chance to kill with no risk. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty ideal in terms of like that is like a good position for a mix up. So a lot of times it's like going for a mix up in like a good position is that like you want the odds, not the odds but like the result to how often those results happen, like ratio of like how good things are versus like how good the best case is and how often it happens, how bad the worst case is, how often that happens, and how often like the kind of middle cases happen and then like what the results of those are. And so you can kind of just like sum up of like if I make this guess, what can go right and wrong, and trying to determine the value of that. And there are plenty of spots where there is like a really good mix up where you have low risk. Usually it's like if I hit them with this, then they, I have a pretty good. So like maybe like a good example would be something like Fox is kind of in the corner here, right? And then you're here, and let's say for whatever reason you do short hop, and like let's just say all of this has already happened. And it's not part of the decision, okay? Like let's say you have like a chance to do late down air shine grab on Fox's shield, on the back of his shield. That's like a pretty good mix up to go for because if he shines you out of it, you're just going to go to the edge. So, like, your risk there is not nearly as much. Whereas, like, if you're doing it from center and you do the late down air shine grab and he shine out of shields you and you're at kill percent or something, like, you could literally just die. So, your risk might be, like, larger than the reward of, like, yes, I got the shine grab and so I got a grab, whereas like if you miss it maybe he kills you. So that's a lot of times what people are talking about like good bad positions. So like for instance, like right here you go for a mix up out of shield here, you go for the short hop down air instead of a more like safe option like wave dash back or roll or full hop to side plat. And those are still mix-ups, right? Like there's everything you do in this game can be punished somehow, but those are like overwhelmingly safe, and so they're not as like you don't need to think about them as like as mix-ups quite as much because they're not as risky. But you go for a mix-up here, and it's like your best case out of this is you early down air Fox, and that's all that happens. And your worst case is you get punished to death. So this is like an example of like a mix-up that you don't want to go for. And that's kind of like the way people judge like good position, bad position mix-ups. Yeah, go for it. I'm curious your thoughts.
It makes sense, but how is this unconscious to people?
What do you mean how is it unconscious?
How, like, there's no like you can think while you play, but like there's so much mental math.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so a lot of times, so I don't know, it kind of goes in steps. Like you sort of think like, what good stuff, like what big openings does my opponent have, and then think about what big openings you have, and then if like you can kind of simplify it down to that because if Fox like jabs you here, like who cares? So there's like a lot of potential options that can happen that aren't like really relevant. You're mostly just worried about the strongest stuff that the opponent can do and the strongest stuff you can do. So like you have like a few things that you know work, like you have shine and you have grab and you have late down air.
Hmm.
That's pretty much all you have is zero, and you have laser. That's all you have. And so like if you are in a situation where none of those will hit, you probably just shouldn't go for anything.
And you start
At
to
this
kind of
percent.
feel that out.
Hmm.
Like that becomes unconscious after
I mean,
after
it's not unconscious. It's like Fox is at zero, and I'm like, okay, I have to do the thing where I laser unless he gives me something for free, and then maybe I get a shine or whatever.
yeah,
And then
less conscious than how we're thinking about it now.
so like, there's no temptation to do this down air, not because I have to like think, oh, don't do this down air because it doesn't have high value. I'm just like, is it on the list? If it's not on the list, I'm not gonna try it.
Yeah.
So there's ways to like simplify it down like that that kind of help. It shouldn't feel like you're doing like a lot of mental math
Yeah.
in the moment. It should feel very much like, can I get my super special thing here? No. All right, I don't want it. And then you're like, can I get my super special thing here? And it's like, wait a minute. If I miss, can he get his super special thing? And then like you can kind of just feel it out from there. Um, let's see.
How would you suggest someone, like practice thinking about this
I
while
think
playing?
I think a really good way to do it is like because the thing is like it's not always so simple. Like they're at
Yeah.
45 and they short hop at you. Should you nair or down air? You know, and a lot of times that is like a difficult calculation, and that's why melee's sick because like you have to do like good enough calculations, like pretty good calculations, rather than like perfect calculations because there's like not enough time. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, but like yeah, like at zero, this is like a good way to practice it. Is just that there's not that many things you can really hit. Like if Fox super whiffs something, then you get a late down air, or you can read him with shines, and then otherwise or get like if you get like a free grab, then get a grab. But the majority of the time, just laser and try to like make it so that that's all that happens at low
Yeah.
percent. Like try to weed out things that aren't those things, like even like attempts, like this down here.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's see here. Okay, right here. Okay, so you wall him. Even this wall though, remember he's at zero. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of value. Dashback laser is good. Go to platform is good. Okay, so you land this laser. It's a little risky to do a double laser at this range because he's a little bit too close. Like right here, he can definitely get it on you.
Sure.
But it's not the worst thing in the world. Um, but then you just kind of go like laser, approaching laser, and you just like attack. And like so, there's no reason out of this position to be like, oh, I'll just nair in. I'm kind
Yeah.
of curious, like what you're thinking here.
I'm I mean, I'm not, but I'm like it's because I don't have a good like conceptual awareness of where things are right and wrong, like where things are good and like
Mm-hmm.
valuable and not. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like something I in general that I'm really struggling with, like
Mm-hmm.
getting those concepts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I know a lot of things
There's
that
a
are good.
concept that's sort of like letting your opponent hit themselves on your moves.
Yeah.
And so, like, especially in this matchup, if there's any sense that you're, like, chasing Fox, or that, like, things have kind of been neutral for a bit and Fox just seems really hard to hit, you should never default to, like, trying to go after him and hit him. Um, you
Yeah.
really want to cover like you want to think of situations that Fox might want, like dashing in or dashing back, and you can kind of just cover those options. I think like a good example is this down air, where like if he wasn't at zero, this wouldn't have been a bad down air really. Like
Hmm.
if he was at 30 or something, this is not that bad because you're basically saying like I'm gonna be pretty safe. It's really hard for Fox to cover this because of all the drift and fastball mix-ups, especially when you're drifting back with it. So
Yeah,
like,
I did it on purpose because of that. I mean, obviously I wasn't aware of percent, but that's
yeah,
like
no, this
something that's
this
in my
isn't a
toolkit.
bad downer by any means, except for the percent problem.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is the reasoning behind this down air is not like it's not like that nair you do in a second where Fox is here and you're like, let me get over there and hit where Fox is. You're
sure.
doing like, and you mentioned this, that there's like the predictive element where you're like, aha, Fox can be right here, you know?
Yeah. People
And
talk about
so,
how I play reactive a lot.
hmm?
People mention that I play reactively a lot.
Hmm, I see. Okay. So, basically, this option coverage of what Fox might want is what you sort of want to base a lot of your play around. Uh, a lot of Falco hitting Fox is punishing Fox for trying to do something, not punishing Fox for doing nothing. So if Fox is just chilling over here, you can't really do anything to him except like Laser. Like Laser applies a bunch of pressure just because Fox doesn't want to, he doesn't want to be at percent where down air is good. He doesn't want to be at knockdown percent. He doesn't want to be at percent where he can get sent off stage.
Yeah.
So like Laser is sort of inherently pressure on Fox to sort of come in on you. And then your job is a lot of times cut off Fox's full hop, short hop, dash in options. Cut those off with sort of like fairly safe predictive options. Like this down air, if he was at like 30, would be pretty good. And
Hmm.
just kind of continuously doing that. So, and like the other thing is like at like 0, maybe instead of that, you do this down air, you do short hop, late down air. So it's the same prediction, but maybe, it has a little more oomph if you hit with it because it's part of the list of like really good openings type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't want to chase Fox like this ever because that usually ends badly. Um,
I
okay.
also have an early aerial problem.
I see. Yeah, it's really scary to do. It takes a while to kind of get used to it.
I feel like every time I do a late aerial, I get hit before it comes out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's one of my like really, really big habits, and also spot dodging out of disadvantage.
It's probably because you're late aerialing in a spot where the early aerial wouldn't hit. Like, people will, like, they'll stand, like, at this distance or whatever. They'll jump in from here, and you'll be like, oh, I'm getting ready to do a late aerial. And it's like, well, the reason the late aerial is good is because Fox is shielding the early aerial. So,
Yeah.
like, if instead this position was like if instead this position was Fox being here
Yeah.
and you jump at him and you empty hop at him, then like he's thinking like, Falco just wants to make this early down air hit. So he'll shield, and then that's when you get the late aerial pressure. But if you're jumping from all the way over here where the early aerial won't hit, then like you're either doing a late aerial or like the weak hit of an early aerial hitting late. and so like there's not like a threat of doing like basically the threat of the early aerial is what allows late aerial to work. So if
Makes
the
sense.
early aerial is not threatened by the position that like you could early aerial, then they are not going to ever get hit by the late one. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm trying to think of the best way to go about this. Hmm. Let's keep watching for a little bit. I'm gonna keep thinking about it.
Okay.
This is another example, really quick, of a spot where, like, if you have a chance to laser, like right here, you should retreating laser here. Like, a lot of times people do these, like, oh, I'll just bait Fox by, like, doing this, like, walk away. And it's like, no, just laser. Like, the lasers will give you a better advantageous position than, like, any form of, like, walking, crouching, dash dancing, neutral.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Let's get through this a little more. Yeah, and a lot of these things are like, so a lot of the issues from the first, like, a lot of times people like laugh because you're like, oh, you spent half an hour on 20 seconds, and it's like, well, the next 20 seconds are just an exact repeat of the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, I see what
Where
I
you're
see
like, down air aerial wall, except Fox is at 0, and then you do a couple lasers, and then you do like a back air that does nothing because Fox is only at 2%. And then you run away, and you get a couple lasers, and then you kind of like do another nair that won't do anything because Fox is only at 5%. And then you like go for this again. You get your lasers, but then you just jump in to try to hit him from far away. Literally the exact same thing. And this is like what I was saying, where like here, if you had done like late aerial, it would have missed also because you would have short hopped and done like a late aerial right here, and Fox would have still punished you. So this is showing where like the because the early aerial doesn't hit early, you lose like the oomph of the early aerial, late aerial like mix up here.
Yeah.
And then yeah, bad back air because yeah, you're throwing out all these moves and you're not considering the fact that this is like the percent where you need to hit like a shine or like a late down air. Like you have to play the game exclusively around your best combo starters. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times people have like a thing of like, oh, well, like if I'm just hunting for my best combo starters, then, you know, like I get too predictable. And it's like, well, yeah, that's like an indication that you should probably practice using your best combo starters more. So don't be like frustrated if you feel like a dip in performance whenever you start doing something new like that. It's just kind of natural, but trying to like maintain the same level of performance a lot of times will get you back to these like kind of like lazy habits type things.
Yeah.
So just be ready to like get a little worse because none of these moves, like you'll have to consciously suppress like, nope, don't do that back air, and then, you know, maybe you'll get hit out of it and you're like, maybe I should have done the back. It's like, no. Just focus on the stuff that you know is really, really good.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that. Like I did this thing right, so the rest of this doesn't really matter. Like I got my food pellet of reward. Like that's something I really struggle with is like I get a lot of information. I've watched a lot of your stuff and other people's stuff, and then like I try to apply things, and if I don't get like a food like a reward, like a treat that's like perfect, that's like, oh, I did it so well, and like I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm like, and it like fires off in my brain, then I just feel lost.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually like pretty common. There's nothing wrong with it. All it is that you need to put in a little bit more effort, like when you know something is good, um, to sort of
Believe in it.
no. You need to like if you know it's good, you need to like seek out situations where you will be rewarded for it. So
Okay,
like
that makes sense.
play against like a really bad fox and just be like, the only thing I'm gonna hit with is laser and late down air. That's it. And
Yeah.
like just wait, and then like until you get at 0 at least, you know, like at low percent, and like wait until you get just a couple times of these nice good ones, and remember not to do any of the dumb stuff in the meantime, and kind of build up like these rewards for yourself, because like there's nothing like you're not weird or like you're not honestly not disadvantaged in any way by having that like, oh, I need the dopamine to
Yeah.
like learn or whatever. That's like pretty normal. It's
Yeah.
just if you're kind of sensitive to it, then you need to make sure to practice things in a way that do burn them into your brain, and like
Yeah, that's
give
what I
yourself the
really
treat,
work on.
but for the good things rather than continuing to do whatever gives you the treat.
Yeah.
So you got to
That's
make it like a more conscious decision of like, I know this is good. And I don't know, this is also a little bit more of like a personal gripe, but I feel like don't listen too hard to the people around you and what they tell you is missing from your play. Like some people will give legitimate advice, but a lot of times it can get like like it gets lost in translation, or like they're not really a Falco player, so they don't really get like what's happening, and they're just comparing it to like against another Falco. I felt different, so I'm gonna like explain that feeling to you, but say it in a way that sounds, you know, like you should be doing this thing differently, and it can get really confusing, especially when you get like,
I got this lesson.
Huh?
That's like part of the reason I got this lesson.
Yeah, especially when you're getting like contradictory stuff. So like you can like listen to people, but like you shouldn't really be like, especially when it's like somebody who doesn't play Falco. Like if they play Falco and they're telling you from Falco's perspective, I would put a little bit more weight on that. If it's an opponent, and especially if they say something like, just too many lasers, man. Like, no, they're just trying to keep you down. Like, they just, like, so many times people are like, telling me I play lame or whatever, and it's like, what you're telling me is that you want a chance to beat me. Like, you wish that you could win, and you're frustrated, so you're taking it out on me. And so there's, like, a lot of things that, like, you just have to take everybody's advice with a grain of salt, and especially if they're not a Falco player, and especially if they're, like, mid-level player. The more confidence that a mid-level player speaks to you with, the more you should disregard it.
That makes
like,
perfect sense.
When they're like, I don't know, man, maybe, like, I feel like I get, like, just pushed into the corner and lasered, you're like, huh, okay, maybe there's some, you know, merit to that. But when they're like, Falco defeats Fox because of this specific instance where you do this, like, no, just ignore that, like, every time. They're always wrong.
Yeah.
So that's just more of, like, a personal gripe.
That makes sense.
But, I just know how confusing it can be trying to ask a bunch of people for advice, and everybody gives weird, different advice that is kind of abstract and doesn't make sense. It's okay. Yeah, they just don't know what they're talking about. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely don't worry about the, like, you're lasering too much, stuff like that. I think a lot of it is you need to stop trying to make openings so much. In this matchup in particular, I think that would help you a lot. Like I said, I don't try to make openings on Fox. I will literally, like, okay, I'm going to exit out for a second and show you basically, like, what I do against this character.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of times people... It's hard to, like, describe it a little bit. Okay, so let's go Battlefield or something like that. Okay, so a lot of times I will do stuff like this, and I'm kind of getting, you know, I'm kind of just doing stuff. If I'm reading them going to a platform, I'll get kind of these things, and I'm doing a lot of laser stuff. And what I'm not doing is going for, like, you know, like, no, that's the trash. Like, you don't want to be doing that, like, pretty much ever. Like, oh, the super tricky, like, oh, I'm so tricky that I get like that. No. You can only do that when you think that maybe someone's gonna do stuff like, so like the opening you might want against somebody. Oops, it's please tell me they have up tilt. They just not have up tilt. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So like, let's say we have a thing and pretend Fox is doing turnaround up tilt. You know, so maybe I'll get this and I'll go, and then that's how I get an opening. But I'm never gonna go like that and just hope for the opening. The thing is, I do that sometimes, but it's not that good. It's like, you shouldn't really go for that much.
Yeah.
You want to get like this bait on Fox where you get like a nice free opening like that, or you want to get something like, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get stuff where I'll go kind of like this, and then I get this laser, and then just like this will happen a bunch of times in neutral where I get kind of this sequence, you know, whether I'm doing it like this or like this, I get this kind of like retreating laser sequence type thing. And so what Fox will do is he'll be like, take laser, dash back, take laser, dash back, and I'll kind of get a sense that maybe he's feeling kind of aggro. So then I'll do a thing where I do like this laser, and then what he's getting ready for is me to do this. But then instead of that, I go like, you know, maybe I'll do this, and then like this. And so what I'm doing is if Fox tries to dash in to get this nair, I just get this shine on him. And if he thinks that I'm going to do this, and he's like backing off or playing safe, he doesn't get anything. I just get this, and I do this, or whatever, and then that's it. And it's totally like, okay. And so I'm kind of like trying to be like, if I laser you here, and I think you're going to run in to chase me here and do this, then maybe I can catch you with this shine here. And if not, I'm safe, and I go back to this laser pattern. And then I'll do stuff where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something like this or whatever, and then Fox will get kind of like this type of thing, right? And then what I'll do here is I'll shoot the first one. I'll go like this. Oop. And then I'll just kind of, wow. And I'll roll out of the way. And so I have a lot of these things where I'll kind of just play it super safe and I'll roll out of the way. And then, like the 10th time, I'll go like, and then I hit him. And so a lot of it is sort of like presenting Fox with potential ways to get in on you and then taking them away. And then you present him a new way to get in on you and you take it away. And so I do, and so I also do a lot of stuff where I do like, oh, I'm here, and then I go like this, and I'm like, oh, I'm not shooting lasers, you can totally get me, and then I go here. And then if they try to come in, maybe shield drop shine, maybe drop here, maybe I do this, you know, maybe I just come up here, and then drop through. And so there's a lot of ways that I can sort of be like, come on, try to get me. And then when he does, I'm like, actually, I'm 100% safe, and I'm completely out of the way, and you had no chance to get me at all. And he's like, oh. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm lasering. Oh, I'm getting kind of close. I'm getting kind of, oh, never mind, here I go. And I'm getting kind of close. You know, and I'm kind of trying to just make his life miserable while never being hittable. And then when I can kind of convince him to like, maybe now, so maybe I do this for a long time, and then I notice that he gets in a habit of being like, you know, and maybe we're kind of in this stalemate battle where I'm shooting and he's kind of going up here, and then maybe I'll go, and I get out of here and I do this, and I go back here, and it's like, aha, if Fox happened to full hop at that one specific moment, he's dead. And if not, there's no way he was going to react to that and kill me, you know?
Yeah.
And I pretty much just repeat that plan over and over, and over and over and over and over, and I beat every Fox I play.
That sounds so fun.
It's great. Especially when you have a stock lead. It feels like they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. I feel like part of it is that I respect my opponent too much because they're playing like the best character. Like I'm scared. Like that you see me run away a lot because I'm like, oh, what can Fox do here? Like he has so many options. But then I don't think about how my opponent is doing 2 or 3 things because he's a human being.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's all information gathering. The lasers are the perfect information gathering tool because you get to see how people react to them every time without even risking yourself at all. You don't have to dash in and see how they react to a dash in. You just laser and see what they do to that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's giving you information that you can use to then, you know, hard counter a Fox. So a lot of times I'll get something, like I said, where I'll get like laser in place. And after the first laser, they did like take laser, turn around, up tilt, and that gets canceled by the second laser. And what happened there? Like, if you really think about it, it's like, well, I got 4 to 5 damage on Fox, which is really useful in a lot of cases, especially at low percent, or, you know, making him able to be knocked down. So I got I got 2 lasers of damage, and I got the information that this Fox at that range sometimes does take laser up tilt, you know. And so maybe in the future I'll do another laser in that position, and then I'll dash dance for just a second to see if he'll let the up tilt rip. And if he doesn't, then I back off and I laser again. And so I'm never trying to like jump in and like beat up Fox. I'm always just kind of pressuring with the laser, looking for ways that like his responses to those lasers could be abusable, and I'm just trying to kind of keep myself safe while I'm playing that little game.
Yeah. I have a lot of trouble with the information gathering thing. How do you suggest someone like, I mean, obviously the obvious answer is I laser and see what he does, but I have trouble compartmentalizing those options. Because to me, it looks like I laser the fastest character in the game, and he does like a bunch of dumb, weird stuff, and you know what I mean?
Okay,
It like makes no
that's a
sense.
big problem. Sorry, it's just okay. It's just a funny thing to say. You're just like, yeah, I laser Fox, and he just starts doing crazy stuff, like stuff I've never seen. You know,
That's
and
kind
it's
of I
like,
know it's funny, but it's kind of how it feels. I hate Fox, man.
so it's like ultimately the only options. So Fox has a million options, right? But ultimately, the only options that matter after a laser are what can Fox do to hit me before my next laser comes out.
Sure.
And that's why landing the first laser is so important, because if you're at this range and you hit this first laser, you know the number of moves that Fox can hit you with. The answer is 0. And so
Yeah,
you're
'cause of
totally
the-
safe to play more. And then maybe when you're here and you're at this range and you laser and you see him full hop, you're like, oh, he can do a bunch of full hop stuff. So you just roll and avoid that whole range of options, you know? Or
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm kind of close enough that like he could nair me, but he has to dash in first. So I'll read it with like a little shine in place or something, like a dash JC shine or something like that. So
Okay.
you a lot of it is reducing his options down to the things you're most like. I would say a good way to practice this is just be like, what am I most afraid of? And then protect myself from that with a laser. If I can't protect myself with a laser, protect myself with movement, shield, roll, etc.
Okay.
When you protect yourself from the most important thing every time, they have to hit you with different things.
Hmm.
And so, like, an example is a lot of times when you're learning Falco Marth, Marths just go to side plat and they run off fair, and it hits you 99% of the time.
Hmm.
And there's nothing you can really do in the matchup to get better at that point except avoid runoff fair. And once you avoid the runoff fair every time, Marth has to start doing new stuff. So now he starts nairing or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah, okay. And then you can start to deal with the nair. But if you're not protecting yourself from the fairs in the first place, then like they have no reason to ever do the nair. And so it's sort of like a nice little building process where you can just protect yourself from the most annoying parts of Fox. And then when he hits you anyway, you can be like, okay, how do I deal with, you know, option A and option B? Is there a laser that beats both? Is there a movement that beats both? Stuff like that. So you can kind of do it step by step. You don't have to like think of every option that Fox does. A lot of stuff in this game is like that, where it's just like picking basically the thing on top of the stack and just
Yeah.
continuously doing that. Like I say that with people getting better at any matchup. You find the part of the matchup where you lose every tournament because they do this, or you lose 3 stocks a game because they do this, and you start avoiding that thing, and now either you start beating them or they find a new way to kill you.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is step by step, and you just got to make sure not to get overwhelmed by the amount of options. So really
Yeah.
quick, I want to go over like when you land like a laser like this, you shouldn't be thinking much of anything. Like you shouldn't really be thinking, can I get in? Whatever. When you hit this laser, you're like, let's go. This laser is a great ticket to another laser.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not the one who has to stop shooting lasers. Fox has to stop you from keep continuing to shoot the lasers. Like, the perfect stock against Fox is probably to laser him to 128 and then jab to knock down and kill him. Like, that would probably be the ideal stock in some, perfect world. So,
Yeah.
like, when you land this laser and you get another laser, this is good. Like, you're strictly winning here. Like, when you're shooting these lasers, this is like a W. And so
Yeah.
if this were me, I would just keep shooting these. And then as soon as he acted like he was going to come in on me, I would go to side plat. And then he'd be like, well, I don't really want to go in because it's Falco on side plat. And I'd be like, yeah, that's right. Maybe I run off and down here you, huh? Huh? And he's like, all right, I'll back off a little bit. And I'm like, that's great. Drop down, laser. Like, like you can
Yeah.
just torture him. He can't really hit you. Whereas like if he just has to like, okay, I take 4 or 5 damage. Falco lasers me a couple times. Oh, okay, now he just gives me a free opening. Like, that's great, you know? Like, now he's just
Yeah.
throwing out moves. And it's like, no, no, no. You had the pressure. You were doing the damage. You were getting the control on Fox. You don't need to, like, give that up. Fox
Yeah.
needs to break you out of it. You don't need to
Yeah.
stop.
I think where it falls apart, you could probably tell from the games. I get the laser or two, and then I'm like, oh man, what do I do? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the same logic that got you lasers 1 and 2 can continue getting you lasers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like,
Yeah.
because Fox didn't do anything that made lasers 1 and 2 not work again.
Yeah.
Like, nothing has changed except you built percent on Fox for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, there's not much else you can say about it that it's kind of like,
Totally.
it's like, kind of, you know, like Sheik recovers and you back air her off, and then they're like, haha, well, see, she's winning because she gets to recover again. And you're like, yeah, and get back aired off again. Like, she's not winning, she's losing, even though I didn't immediately kill her. So, like, the lasers are good unless Fox can give you a reason to stop lasering. Keep lasering. Like, why would you stop?
Is that true in most matchups?
Yeah.
All right.
The difference is that Falco has such overwhelmingly strong pressure on most of the characters that, like, you can kind of just beat them and they don't get to play the game. And Fox is fast enough that you have to play the game. And so, like, because obviously, like, you don't want to camp with lasers. What you want to do is you want to get on them and you want to beat them up and then throw them off stage and laser edge guard them perfectly and you grab edge and they die. And that's true against, like, 85% of the cast. And so, like, against those characters, like, you know, I don't necessarily feel like I need to laser camp Young Link. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, because he can't get away from me. But Fox can get away from me. And so I can't chase him down, and so therefore I am forced to play the safe game with my lasers. But maybe optimal play against every character is to laser camp. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's super worth it against like against a lot of characters who are like who lose to Falco. Laser camping just sort of gives you more chances to mess up because you could eliminate them without it. But with Fox, you need it.
That makes sense.
So it's like if Fox has not provided you a reason for the lasers to stop, then the lasers will continue. Yeah, and then like that is just kind of like the way you got to play it. These backers are okay. I don't like them that much because like they're really you're doing like the weak hit. Backflip late back air is like infinitely better. And
I like zero in on that when they're at 100. Should I be doing it at this percent?
I say over 80.
Okay.
Over 80, I become back air laser king. That's all I do.
Yeah, because I know before that you do down airs.
Yeah.
Like after like 20 or something, you start just looking for down air. I've just heard you talk about it.
Yeah, like when down air gets some good stun, I like down air. When down air knocks down, like basically once you get to like 40, it's just broken.
Yeah.
Like down air is insanely broken at like 40, 50, 60, 70. But then you get to 80 and like you down air and they DI away, you don't really get anything, and it's like back air's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is better than watching one of your lessons because it's for me, but I worry that I won't that I'll try to apply this stuff and fail. So I guess
of course you will, but you have to keep trying it until you succeed.
Yeah. I just need like a prescription. I need homework now.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so let's get into the homework part, and I want to think of a way that this will work for you personally. Okay, so I would say there's two-parter. When Fox is at low percent, I need you to eliminate all options that are not, laser, grab, late aerial, and shine. And basically play against worse foxes if you have to, but like super spam that where you just play with the complete focus that at low percent I will only use those moves. I had to 100% go through this phase, and it was very difficult because especially it's like because I struggled a lot with late aerials at the time, and they're like, one of the only options at 0 is late aerial, and I'm like, but it's like the important part is that you're not trying to approach with the late aerial at 0. You just want to kind of camp with it. And that is sort of what I want you to do in general for the Fox stuff is... I'm trying to think of it because you said like you need like the instant reward or you struggle.
I mean, obviously I can change, but...
No, I know. I'm just trying to think of something that's nice and convenient.
Yeah, sure. The reward could be just watching Fox suffer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's your reward, right?
Well, okay, so what I'm going to say, that's true. What I'm going to say is what I want you to do is get only defensive openings against Fox. So basically you are going to laser until Fox, like laser and move around on platforms. Like it's important to not just sit there lasering in place doing nothing. You got to move around and laser. But like basically I want all of Fox's openings on you to be that you were trying to defend yourself with lasers, and then Fox managed to get in on those lasers. Because that's how you get better at this matchup. Is like, I was trying to laser, and Fox got in with X, and so you're like, okay, next time I'll be ready to escape or counter X. And then you're like...
that gives me the information. That gives me the information that
exactly. Like, it shows you where your laser patterns are vulnerable. And so, like... And, like, I've said this a million times to other Falco players, the lasers are the reason Falco is good. Like, your super cracked combos, shine down air, all that stuff is not why Falco is good. The laser is why Falco is good. So, like, the best type of Falco to be is the Falco where everyone is worried about your lasers, not the one where everyone is worried about your crazy cracked combos, because... comboing is not that hard, whereas lasering is really, really, really hard. Like, lasering is the part that takes years to get good at as Falco, whereas, like, every top player secondary Falco can combo.
Yeah.
To some capacity. So, yeah, like, extreme defense against Fox. You can watch some of my VODs, if not at a major. Every time I'm at a major, I just get nervous and start attacking, so...
So, like, against Smash Daddy? Isn't that someone you play a lot?
No, we haven't gotten a lot of sets. There were a couple lawless sets you could watch. I would also watch like me versus Null. I think those are some good sets. There's some times where I get a little bit too aggro with him, but it's because it's like a personal read from like years of playing him.
Yeah. But
in general, I do play like the campy style. I wish I had some good VODs of me camping Kalindi, because I play him a lot, and we have like 3-minute neutral interactions half the time, like literally, because I'm just camping, and he knows that if he tries to get in on my laser camping, he will die, and so he's just kind of poking around the outside of my lasers for like minutes at a time, and that's kind of what you want to get to. You want to be at a point where like you want like this supreme confidence that if you are using platforms and lasering and full hopping, especially on a triplat, it's hard on this stage and it's extra hard on FD. So let's just mostly focus on the triplat. But I want you to like hardcore just be like, yeah, like he can't catch me. I'm getting laser damage. All of my openings are because Fox dashed in or jumped in or running shined in or something like that. I think it'll help you a lot to sort of focus where you're getting your experiences, because right now you're kind of on this like back and forth, like sometimes I get hit for lasers, sometimes they're good, sometimes I hit my opponent, and it's like that is like a disorganization that makes improving harder. So it
makes it really hard.
Yeah, exactly, because it makes it kind of muddy. So what you want to do is like demudify. You want to clean it up. And you want to simplify what you're doing. Playing... So, like, for example, like, I've been playing ping pong a bunch. And when you play a real game for pressure, there's this temptation to just kind of get it over the table however you can. And every shot ends up totally different, and you end up not learning anything. Whereas, like, if you just go there and you do, like, you drill your forehand for an hour and your backhand for an hour, you'll improve way more than you being like, how do I win this one? How do I win this one? You know? And it's kind of the same way in Melee, whereas, like, a lot of times finding things to kind of drill and repeat and improve at is way better than, like, trying to take the infinite complexity of this game and, like, find ways to win, like, abstractly. You want to find ways that you can improve at playing your character that will eventually lead to winning, but aren't directly linked to, like, winning the game. Like, your reward should be, like, man, I'm feeling way more comfortable camping Fox with lasers. Like, that's a bigger reward than, like, winning a tournament.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, like, the more...
I'm cool with that.
And you don't even have to listen to people's advice. The great part is, like, you don't have to listen to their advice as long as you're just objectively making improvements to your Falco. Yes. Because you're like, well, whatever, like, I'm improving. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm bad at or what you think I'm bad at, because eventually I'll just cover that anyway through my improvement.
Yeah, so, the hard part is seeing where I really improve.
Exactly. And that's why I'm here. And totally. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to hardcore camp Fox with lasers. And here's also something you can do. Take a clip. I don't know if you have shadow play or if you, like, stream or whatever. If you can even just have recording software where, like, after a game you go back, watch the Slippy and record it. Send me some clips, like camp Fox. Get hit, send me a clip, be like, I was laser camping Fox and he hit me, what do I do here? And I'll just literally tell you. And you can repeat that like 10, 15 times until you're, like, insane at camping Fox with lasers.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Alright, cool. So yeah, I think that is the best thing to do, and focus on low percent on, like, it's less important to land late down air and more important to not try early down air at low percent. Because the laser is really where it's at. But okay, those two parts I think is kind of what we went over today. So, yeah, if you get confused or if you have any questions on, like, specific laser patterns or situations, definitely feel free to hit me up about it and we'll work through it.
And this is like,
what's up?
While I'm playing Foxes, and maybe anyone, like, do this until further notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And try not to, like, really get big movements forward. Like, you want a lot of, like, fade back down air openings and, like, shine openings and stuff like that, up tilt. You really don't want these, like, I dove at Fox and hit him, because those are just forever inconsistent.
That makes sense.
Especially with what you're practicing right now. So I want you to be the laser campiest Falco of all time against Fox.
Cool. I can see that you're like, this guy is so malleable, I'm going to turn him into a fiction piece.
Hey, I'm just trying to make you good, dude. Like,
no, I
see the confusion in your play, and I'm like, we can just start at this nice basic thing, and then you won't be confused because we make it nice and simple.
That's, like, exactly what I wanted. So
great.
Perfect.
All right, sounds good, man.
It's so nice to talk to a Falco about this.
Yeah, don't talk to non-Falco fans. They have no idea. I'll fully admit that even when I was a top Fox main, and I was like, giving lessons to Falco players and stuff, it's just different when you play Falco. And I don't think my advice from back then was bad, but I do think that, like, my advice is way better now that I actually play the character.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, do you have any final thoughts? Questions?
No, I mean, I guess thinking about, like, while I'm doing this, I'm still going to weeklies and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, is there, like, a quick, like, explanation you give me of, like, switching back and forth?
No, you want to know the fun part? Is you have to go do this at your weekly and lose.
That makes sense.
It's like, it hurts, but this is what makes you stronger. It's the same way I literally picked up Falco. Is you just
I heard you talk about that.
You just show up and you lose, and then you're lying in bed tossing and turning like, I hate losing. That's how you get better. You don't get better by, like, no, I'm kind of just gonna practice, when it's safe in my free time, and, like, when in tournament I'm still gonna kind of just do my intuitive thing, and it's like, no. Like, whatever you're practicing currently, the purpose of the local is to go to the local and try it really hard. Like
Yeah.
when I was trying to learn fast Falco, I went to the tournament and I lost to Johnny 8 weeks in a row, or eight, not 8 weeks, but 8 tournaments in a row
I
because
remember you
I
talking
was
about.
focusing on just playing fast. And
Yeah.
what happens is eventually you get better at it because you're doing it under pressure in tournament. Your brain has to like adapt and improve, you know, because your brain is like, wow, it really hurts to show up, shoot
Yeah.
lasers, and die. So I really want to stop doing that. Whereas if you don't expose yourself to the pain, uh, it's just going to be a lot slower and a lot harder to solidify.
Yeah. I'm gonna get so mad.
Yeah, yeah. The good news
Uh,
is when you lose, though, you'll have the VOD or the Slippy, and you can just watch it, fix the
yeah.
issues, come back. And the feeling, dude, the feeling of when you go backwards to learn something new and you practice doing these lasers in tournament and you lose and you lose and you lose, and like week 4 you come back to the local and you beat somebody using the pure laser strat that you practiced, it feels amazing. Because you know for sure that you didn't win just because, you know, you out intuitive them. You won
Yeah.
because of the thing you practiced that you knew was good. And it's very validating and it helps a lot, like implementing more new things in the future because you know that your process works.
That's cool. All right. I'm
All
done.
right, sick. I will talk to you later, man, and I hope you have a good one. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, man. You too.
Peace.